Okay, cool. People, as you're coming in, we'll just get started now and kind of wait for everybody else to join. But today we're going to be going over using Onform to coach and run your remote coaching business. I have Mason Woods here with Throwify. He's a remote throwing coach and he's had a lot of experience coaching in person and then has kind of transitioned into the remote space using Onform to do that. So I know that a lot of you might be coaches of different backgrounds. Mason works specifically with throwers and track and field, but this is applicable across any type of coaching business. If you are a PT, a football coach, basketball coach, I think that this is a great tool for you to kind of utilize and just kind of learn how you can actually use our platform to manage your athletes and do everything remotely. So, Mason, thanks for having me, or thanks for being here today with me. Excited to kind of chat. Just a little background on Mason. He has been a throws coach for quite a while. He's coached hundreds of high school athletes, taking them to the next level of competing in college. He's coached multiple state champions, school record holders, and has been able to kind of do this all through his business, Throwify. He learned and trained under Coach Dane Miller for 3 years. So he has that background now there for any throws coaches that are in there. You'll know that name. But yeah, Mason, it's really nice to have you.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here. I'm excited to talk. I love hearing myself talk.
Awesome. Cool. Well, walk us through. I just gave kind of a little bit of a background on your coaching, but walk us through kind of how you got started.
Yeah. So like you said, I trained up under Dane. I moved up to Pennsylvania, where he has his in-person facility, Garage Strength, back in 2021, and that's when I was still competing myself as a thrower. Wasn't coaching or anything like that. So I was training under him, learning how he coaches technique, how he programs for his athletes. So I started there in 21, and then I moved back down to Virginia in February of 2024. And I was still competing until August of 2024. And when I was done throwing, it kind of felt empty. Like I knew I wanted to stay in the sport of throwing, but I didn't know at what capacity. And before then, when I was in Pennsylvania, I worked in a smaller role in his sister company, Throws University. And they did something very similar. They are doing something very similar to what I'm doing here with the online coaching. So I had a little bit of experience there as well as up there. And when I moved back down and I finished throwing in August of 24, I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a try. Why not? And just started coaching athletes, just keeping it really simple. And that's how it just kind of blossomed from there and just taking it day by day. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for that background. I think a lot of coaches, maybe you're coaching in person right now, or you're trying to start up a remote coaching business, and Mason has really good insight on kind of how you can do that. So excited to chat about all of that today. Before I go any further, so we just introduced Mason. This is going to be kind of our workflow for the webinar. We're going to go into the technology and how he's using Onform, different features that he likes to use, kind of his typical use case with his athletes and how he runs through that with the app and how his athletes respond to that as well. Something really cool is that Mason also meets with his athletes on Zoom weekly. So he's using Onform as that daily coaching tool where he can send them feedback back and forth, share videos, but he's also hosting sessions and teaching sessions for his athletes. So we'll go through all of that, and then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat throughout the presentation, and then we'll get to those questions at the end. So now we'll move forward a little bit. So Mason, you talked about kind of how you started as a coach, and then you started coaching a few athletes. How did you get from the point, so you started maybe coaching in person. How did you switch to that remote aspect, or what did that look like for you?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I started online. Like I
Okay.
started with just posting on Instagram because my main role after it was university was posting on the Instagram. So I kind of knew how to start attracting, traffic and getting people interested. Like there was like a weird buffer where I started it probably like in April 2024, and I was still throwing. So I had a lot of content myself. So I was just posting content of me. And I was like, well, this is how you fix your left arm out of the back, or this is how you set up your spin. I just started posting that. And then people started reaching out and they're like, hey, I'm interested in getting coached. I go, cool. It was pretty messy.
Yeah.
The first few athletes, like I remember my very first athlete, Scott, it was brutal. Like I think I was doing it all through iMessage. I was screen recording his videos and sending him voice messages. Like I felt like I was over coaching him. Like it was like I was doing everything. He's like, I want you to stay. Like I want this to work out. So Scott, he was really good with that. And it was through Google Sheets of workouts. Obviously, we've moved past that at that point, but um, I was basically just doing what I knew, and as it kind of grew, I kind of found better ways to use my time and coach them more efficiently. Um, yeah, that's basically it. Just
Cool.
with my athletes.
Yeah, and you've kind of progressed to having a lot more athletes now too. So with the implementation of Onform, when you started using it, kind of what benefits did you see there with having so many athletes? And then also just that difference, you said you were texting him and doing voiceovers and Google Sheets. Kind of what does that look like now for you with Onform?
Yeah, so now we heavily use the analysis part of Onform, right? Where the athlete will send their video and I'll send back just me talking over their video and drawing arrows on the screen and all that fun stuff. Um, and basically using Onform, I feel like I can coach to my full advantage at this point. I can get my idea across. The athlete knows what they need to do. So, sometimes I'll split my screen and I'll show like a professional thrower and them executing it. I just feel like there's a lot more tools and I'm not limited in what I can teach an athlete now. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, are you pulling, so do you pull in drills or example videos for your athletes into the app so they can see them?
yeah. I don't know how many drills I've recorded at this point, but good God, it is. I've recorded more drills than I need to probably at this point. Um, yeah, just drills, sending them the YouTube link, and I even use the reference content too. Like that's been really helpful just to pull like the exact drill that they need to do.
Right.
So that's been really helpful. And sometimes I'll do analysis on a professional thrower, just giving them my thoughts. So that's been really helpful as well.
Cool.
Mhm.
Um, so I know right now I talked to you recently and you said you had like almost 200 athletes.
Yeah.
How do you manage so many people and how do you use Onform to do that?
Well, it's definitely not easy. It takes a lot of time, but thankfully, this is my full-time job, and I take
Mhm.
great pride in it. So some days it'll take me 4 hours in the morning to get through everybody, but I love what I do, so it's not tedious at all. I realize the kind of impact that I'm having with these athletes, so um, it's definitely not easy, but I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. So I just kind of push through it. That's literally it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's probably so cool to see their progress throughout high school and then going into college and kind of seeing where they go with all of that. That's the best part about coaching for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bittersweet right now because I am graduating a few seniors, and a few of them I've been working with for close to 2 years now. So it's like, you know, like don't go yet. Like come on, like come on, let's do a reclass. Come on, like come on back.
Exactly.
But yeah, but they're going
You're
to
not
throw
start like
college.
a Throwify college or something.
Good Lord, non-credited.
Um, so I think it would be helpful. We're talking a lot about how you're using it. I think it would be helpful to kind of see actually how you manage all of these athletes and then also some of the tools you use. So if you'd like to share your screen, we can kind of dive in and just kind of walk through how you're doing it and how you're communicating with your different athletes.
Yeah, yeah. So can you see my screen now with Nick?
Yes. Yeah.
So Nick is probably one of my most consistent athletes, and you can tell because we have over 1,200 videos shared back and forth. I mean, this kid does not know what non-consistent is. Like he is really great about it, and it's really helpful. Just because the more videos that I can see each day, the more I can see how his technique is adapting and what we need to adjust going into his next meet. Um, but yeah, so we actually had a Zoom call yesterday. So we actually did this analysis already, but just to kind of show you an example, actually, I think what will probably be more efficient here is I use the pin message a lot when it comes to assigning what cues I want an athlete to work on. Right now, with us being in the championship part of the season, like cues are very simple. Like we're not making this complex at all. So you'll see it literally for shot, it just says slow to fast. Because we worked on so many things beforehand that we can trust our training now, and we can just work on just taking it slow out of the back and using the acceleration. So an athlete always knows what they need to focus on from that pin message. So that's really helpful. Um,
I
uh,
love that. Let's get you that record, Bob.
oh, wait, where was that?
I don't know, it's at the
Oh,
top.
let's get you that record, boss. I'm glad. Sometimes I curse, so I'm glad that it's not.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is a video of Nick. So like I said, we were working on slow to fast. So for the Zoom call examples, I just recently started doing this with the Zoom call with my athletes. Just it's like an office hours kind of thing, where if an athlete has a question and we're not on the same page, I encourage them to join the Zoom call, and I have some times. Um, but yeah, I'll share my screen. I'll talk through. I'll just watch it through a couple times. I mean, this is a pretty good example. Just taking it slow out of the back. Um, he did a really good job. He was battling a little bit with the pre-turn here, but now he's really fixed that. So I'm really happy with that. Yeah, we watched this through. I'll give him my thoughts. I'll be like, do you have any, comments, questions, concerns? And just to make sure that we're on the same page. Like that's what the Zoom calls are really meant for. Um, and then if we're just doing like a regular analysis where we don't meet on Zoom and I just send it over, then I would just hit that record button, just watch it through. I keep things very quick and simple. I don't really like to explain myself. I do explain myself when I initially give a cue, but after I've given them that, I don't want to overcoach and be like, this is what you need to feel, yada, 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 yada. I'd be like, yo,
Yeah.
this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. Go do it. And that's it.
Cool.
So, does that kind of,
Seems like a good system, like being able to kind of initially establish that it's probably a little bit more work to get them to understand those cues that you're giving them. But then later down the road, later in the season, you can just kind of get that video from them, send it back. Okay, hey, we've been working on this. You know what you need to do. Keep it short and sweet.
yeah, yeah. I like keeping things simple. I think it's the best thing. I think there's kind of stages that I go along with it. And I might be in my head a little bit too much about this, but when I first like initially give a cue, it takes a little bit of time for them to figure it out with slow reps. And then once they get somewhat consistent with the slow reps, then they start to ramp up the intensity. And then that's when the new cue shows up in the higher reps or the higher intensity reps. And then once they're consistent with that, then I want to see it in a competition. And then once they can prove it to me that they can hit that new cue in a competition, that's when I can consider potentially moving on to the next cue. And then the process just repeats from there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Have you had any like feedback from athletes about kind of your, I guess, the different tools within the app or like the side-by-side comparison? Like what tools have been really helpful for them to bring back to their training?
Yeah, I really try to tailor the coaching for each athlete. Like what I like to do is send out Google Forms like every once in a while, just giving like their feedback. I'm just asking, hey, what's going well, and what can we do? What can I be doing better for you? Some athletes love the comparison stuff. Like you can see here, if we go on my reference, like here's some of the videos of me explaining stuff. I have some Krauser and Tom Walsh videos, just random stuff that I accumulate. But it's all great stuff. And if the athlete says, "Hey, I need to see it from a professional thrower," they got it. That's what we're rolling with. But
Yeah.
I do try to tailor it to each person and just listen to them.
Have you ever, this is just something I like personally, but have you ever been able to kind of pull back maybe a video of when you first started working with an athlete or at the beginning of a season versus later on just to
Yeah.
show them their progress?
I think I do that every time. Like I love that, especially with Nick, because I don't even know if I have enough time to scroll like all the way down for Nick. I mean, we've been working like it's been a daily thing. I mean, there's a video of his hand exploding because he didn't release the shot right. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, we're not even in April yet and we're still going. But yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah.
And then for people who maybe aren't using Onform yet or maybe barely using it, the athletes are sending him video directly through the app, and then he's receiving it, and he'll get notifications when they upload videos, when they message him, vice versa. So it works as an entire communication tool between Mason and his athletes.
Yeah. Yeah. Super simple. I love it.
Cool. So a few more questions as well. So I was kind of looking just in the chat and seeing who's in here. What advice would you give to anybody that's in here that's kind of considering trying to, technology can be a little overwhelming. So just trying to get started with, running their business or communicating with their clients through Onform.
Right. Um, yeah, anything else in life, just don't wait and just get your hands dirty and get in there. Uh,
Yeah.
and then listen to your athletes and see what they like and see what they don't like. Um, I kind of know an idea of what I want my coaching to look like, but the way that it's displayed could look a little bit different based off what the athlete likes. So the content stays the same. I just might present it a little bit differently for each athlete.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really helpful, especially it just can be kind of like just difficult to get started, I think, but once you get into the flow of it and you found a really good like workflow for you, um, I know that personally, because we've worked together for a while, Mason uses the bulk message feature where he can tell all of his athletes like, hey, he has like 100 plus, I don't know how many athletes you have in there, but you can send a message to everybody. He can schedule it for a certain time. So maybe like Monday morning, he's like, hey, this is what I want you to send me. This is your training for the week. Could you expand a little bit on that and how you use that to kind of mass communicate with everyone?
Yeah, yeah. Last week I had to send out a quick text to everybody because I realized that New Balance Nationals and Adidas Nationals were on the same weekend, and I
Oh,
promised that I would be at both. So I was like, "Hey guys, tell me which ones that you guys are going to because I need to figure out which events to go to." So that was really helpful because I could not imagine copy and pasting that same message to all my athletes. So that's really helpful. If I have like a family emergency and I can't do like a Zoom call or something, that's really helpful too. I'll send that out. I did have to use that a few months ago, so that was helpful. But yeah, I try to be just really communicative and the mass messages just help everyone be on the same page.
yeah, cool. Yeah, if you guys don't know or haven't used it, you're able to send a mass message basically to all of your athletes at once. It'll appear in their chats like you sent it to them personally, but it's just a way to kind of keep tabs on everyone. And like Mason said, if he has an emergency pop up, you can send that out to everyone. So it's pretty cool how you're using it there.
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go into some of the questions. There's a few questions in the chat for both of us. And just for me, the first one, does the athlete need to purchase the app or is there a free part for them? So no, if you have your coaching account, you get to invite athletes and they join for free. So that's a nice benefit of OnForm is that they just create their account, you send them an invite code and they get to utilize the app. They can record, they can mark up videos if they want, things like that. A question for Mason. So you used to use Google Sheets. Now do you give how do you give your programs or drills? Do you do that in OnForm or something else?
Yeah, so I actually this sounds crazy. I hired a coder to make my own app, so that was really helpful. He's a genius. His name's Joe, and we literally are able to display what I want an athlete to do each day. So that's how I kind of did it. It took a lot of man hours, but it's not fully there yet, but it's there. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, do you have any other coaches in your program? How do you manage your athletes and coaches? That's a question.
Yeah. So no other coaches. It's just me. A lot of man hours. Maybe I should start considering another coach. I'm sure I've gotten a lot of questions. I've gotten a lot of questions like that. Um, but yeah, just me and how I manage each athlete is, like I said before, like I have a lot of willpower. I guess like I couldn't like I say this. I know I said this before, but I literally couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. So like if I have to work another hour, I'll work another hour. Like I'm 25 years old. I don't really have any responsibilities in life besides letting my dog out. I don't have any kids, so if I need to
Yeah,
work late, then I can just work late. That's cool.
yeah, that's great. And just from the athlete perspective too, like having like your dedication to them and making sure that they're getting all of the feedback that they need. Like I know that's thoroughly appreciated by them. So it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. I'm traveling to PA for their state meet this weekend, so I'm really excited for it.
Nice. So are your athletes kind of from all over, I'm assuming, or kind of more in your area?
Yeah, so they're all over. Like I have an in-person group here in Virginia, about like 12 to 15 kids, and they'll come out each Sunday, and that's where we'll get some in-person training in. But Pennsylvania have a lot of kids from Idaho for some reason. I didn't target them; they just kind of just trickled in. I love Idaho. I've never been there. Um, Cali, Nevada. I have a flag right here. I'm kind of looking around, but yeah, I don't discriminate. If you want to throw, I'll coach you.
Awesome. Another question. So I don't quite understand this question, but I see the check mark emoji. How are you using that to stay organized? Can you change the name of the user from an admin account? Did you put the check mark on someone's profile?
Yeah, that's just to make sure that they sent in their first initial video and make sure
Oh, okay.
that's up and running. Yeah, I've gotten pretty creative in the app before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Mason has given us a lot of feature requests, and we've actually implemented a lot of them because he's using it so much. And when you're using it as much as you are, there's so many uses for it. So you've been really helpful to us in just like developing and um, getting better
yeah.
there. Um, what are some other ways that you've kind of gone creative within the app, or something that maybe just you've had to add into your workflow?
Uh, Honestly, I think the biggest thing that was really helpful was the pin messages. Like before then, I it was a mess. Like I had to where I typed the athlete's name, I would delete their last name and I would put their Q as the last name. So they always knew what the Q was. So it was like, I remember I have an athlete named Brenda. Her first name was Brenda and her last name was hold left arm. And I was like, all right, I know what Brenda's working on.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I had to tell them, like, yo, I know your last name, but this is just our Q. And they're like, got it, got it. So they're really flexible at it. But yeah, I got pretty good with that. So the pin message helped.
Pin message, put the cues in there.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, another thing too, I guess on your end, we have that note section where you can probably keep some notes on them as well. But
Yeah.
the pin message is nice for them to actually have their cue there. They know it. They think about it every day.
Mhm.
That's great. Are there any other kind of tips and tricks for how you've been using it that you think would be helpful?
Um, I guess the biggest tip and trick, especially with throwing, because you take so many reps, is I actually try to limit the amount of videos that they send me. Like if I have an athlete that's sending me like 8 to 10 videos a day, like I'm giving them like a different cue in each video. And that's the last thing that I want to happen. Like I don't want them to go into the next practice with 5 cues in their head because I see something different in each video. So just keep it simple, just 1 or 2 videos. We really just hash out that one thing, focus on one thing at a time. I mean, my athletes' ears probably bleed from the amount of times that I've said that. Just focus on this thing. Like, yo, we're just doing this. Like, I can see like the corrected a technique in my head, but I need them to just hit it. So it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's funny.
exactly. Like finish that one thing and then we can move on to the next. And
Yeah, and telling a high schooler that it's a little hard. I don't
yeah,
think if I was in high school, I would probably have quit the coaching because I was so impatient.
yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's a lot of technique.
Sure.
Um, we have another question. So we have several coaches in different departments, such as hitting, pitching, catching. Are we able to set up clients in groups? Yes. I don't know if Mason does this, but I definitely do this a lot. In the college space, we have jumpers, throwers, etc. So you can actually group athletes together in a team. There's mass communication there, so you can communicate with everyone at once on that team or that group. You can tag athletes in the video. So let's say you have a team of 5 people. As you're going through at practice and recording each of those people, you can tag each person, get it sent to them. So the group feature is definitely helpful, especially in a situation like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do you have any groups, Mason, or mostly one-on-one?
So I do coach. I coach some coaches. Like
Okay.
they'll have like 2 or 3 athletes that are like legit.
Mhm.
Like, hey, I just want your thoughts on this. Like, and I'm just
Nice.
consulting at that point.
Cool.
So yeah, there is groups there, and I guess I could have like a group with my in-person people, but I see.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Um, okay, another question. How do I add a coach to my team? It's the same process as adding an athlete. So when you go, you can go to that home screen when you create a team. You'll create that team, and then once you're in that team, you'll see a plus button where you can either add an athlete or a coach. You can change their role in there. If you are a coach on Onform, you'll be prompted to pay. So we charge per coaching account. Basically, what that means is with a coach account, you have the ability to add athletes. So you kind of need to distinguish what their role is and how much you want them to be active in there. But that's how it works. You should be able to add another coach to a team pretty easily.
Mhm.
Okay, any more questions for Mason or I?
Anything at all. Trying to be an open book today. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
If anyone does have any questions for me or Mason after this webinar, you can send them my way. And then I can also chat with Mason as well. Um, but I think we will wrap it up since I don't have any more questions. I really appreciate you being here today, Mason. It's really cool to learn about your business, and I appreciate you sharing your wealth of knowledge with other coaches that might just be getting into this or might want to learn from you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And if anyone comes up with any questions, all you gotta do is I'm on Instagram at Throwify. I'm on
Yes,
TikTok.
perfect.
I'm at TikTok on Throwify. Um, I'm on YouTube Shorts as Throwify. I got Throwify locked down everywhere. So if you got a question, just DM me and tell me you're from the webinar because I get a lot of DMs from high schoolers. So if you tell me that you're from the webinar, then I'll put you at the top of the list.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Mason. Thanks for everyone for joining as well.
Yeah, I think it was productive.
Thanks.
Awesome. See y'all.